Fleet Admiral Thexara stood on the bridge of his massive warship, watching the stars through the viewing screen. His fleet of 847 ships moved through space like a deadly storm. For 3,000 years, the Vadarian Confederation had conquered every species they met. Today would be no different. "Admiral," called Chief Intelligence Officer Morden from his station, "we have detected a vessel at the edge of this system." Thexara turned his 4 eyes toward the tactical display. A single ship appeared on the screen, floating near a small planet. The ship looked strange to him. It was long and narrow, about 2 kilometers from front to back. The metal hull was dark gray with strange markings he had never seen before. "Only one ship?" Thexara asked. His voice carried the authority of someone who had destroyed entire civilizations. "What species does it belong to?" "Unknown, Admiral," Morden replied. "Our scanners are picking up energy signatures we have never encountered. The ship appears to be scanning the planet below." Thexara smiled, showing his sharp teeth. In all his years of conquest, he had learned that new species were always easy to defeat. They never expected the full might of the Vadarian fleet. This lonely ship would surrender quickly, just like all the others. "Have they noticed us yet?" the Admiral asked. "No, sir. They seem focused on their planetary scans. Our stealth systems are keeping us hidden." "Good. Send a probe to get closer readings of their technology." The probe launched silently from the flagship and moved toward the unknown vessel. As it got closer, the readings became clearer. Morden studied the data with growing interest. "Admiral, this is fascinating," Morden said. "The ship's energy output is much higher than expected for its size, but their weapons appear primitive, basic energy projectors, nothing that could threaten our shields." Thexara nodded. "What about their communications?" "We are intercepting their transmissions now, sir." The speakers crackled to life with voices speaking in a language none of them had heard before. The translation computers worked quickly to decode the sounds. Soon, words appeared on the screen in Vadarian script. "Captain Lee Hyun to Science Team Alpha," came the translated voice. "Are you getting good readings from the planet's surface?" Another voice responded. "Yes, Captain. Dr. Park Suman here. The planet shows signs of ancient civilization. We should investigate further." "Understood, Doctor. Continue your scans. We have all the time we need." Thexara listened to more of their chatter. These creatures called themselves humans. They spoke of exploration and discovery, not conquest or war. They seemed peaceful, almost innocent. It reminded him of the Zelkari people from 50 years ago. They had also been peaceful explorers. Now they worked in Vadarian mining colonies. "How many crew members do you estimate?" Thexara asked. "Based on the ship size and energy consumption, approximately 3,000 beings," Morden answered. "Their life signs show they are carbon-based, similar to 17 other species we have conquered." 3,000, Thexara repeated thoughtfully. "Against our 2 million crew members. This will be simple." The Admiral walked to the center of his bridge. His flagship alone was 15 kilometers long, 5 times larger than the human vessel. His fleet could destroy planets if needed. One small exploration ship would surrender without a fight. "Prepare the standard first contact protocol," Thexara ordered. "Deploy the fleet in intimidation formation Delta. I want them to see exactly what they face." Across the fleet, ship captains received their orders. 847 warships moved into position, creating a massive wall of metal and weapons pointed at the human vessel. The formation was designed to show overwhelming force while leaving room for surrender. "Communications ready?" "Admiral," reported the communications officer. "Begin recording," Thexara said, straightening his uniform. "Unknown vessel, this is Fleet Admiral Thexara of the Vadarian Confederation. You have entered space claimed by our empire. State your intentions immediately." The message was transmitted on all frequencies. On the human ship, alarms started ringing. The Vadarians watched as the human vessel stopped its planetary scans and turned toward their fleet. "They are responding, Admiral," the communications officer announced. The screen showed a human face for the first time. The creature had only 2 eyes, pale skin, and dark hair. He wore a blue uniform with strange symbols. When he spoke, his voice was calm, despite facing nearly 1,000 warships. "This is Captain Lee Hyun of the Earth vessel Indomitable," the human said. "We are peaceful explorers from the planet Earth. We mean no harm to you or your territory. We were investigating this system for scientific purposes only." Dr. Park Suman appeared beside the captain. She was smaller than Lee Hyun, with long black hair tied back neatly. Her eyes showed curiosity rather than fear. "Captain," she whispered, "their fleet formation suggests hostile intent. My readings show they have weapons trained on us." Thexara could hear everything through their open communication channel. These humans were analyzing his fleet even while talking. They were smarter than they appeared, but still trapped. "Captain Lee Hyun," Thexara responded, "you speak of peace. But you have invaded our space without permission. Your vessel will surrender immediately. Prepare to be boarded for inspection." The human captain's face showed no fear. Instead, he looked thoughtful, as if considering options that Thexara could not imagine. "Admiral Thexara," Lee Hyun replied, "we had no knowledge that this system was claimed. Our star charts show no previous contact with your species. If we have made an error, we apologize. However, we cannot surrender our ship. Perhaps we can discuss this situation peacefully." Thexara laughed. The sound echoed across his bridge, making his crew smile with anticipation. Peaceful discussion was not possible when one side held all the power. "You misunderstand your situation, human," Thexara said. "You face the greatest military force in this galaxy. 847 warships, each more powerful than your entire vessel. You have exactly 10 minutes to surrender, or we will take your ship by force." On the human vessel, Captain Lee Hyun turned to speak with his officers. The Vadarians could see other humans moving around their bridge. They seemed busy but not panicked. Thexara found this strange. Most species begged for mercy when facing the Vadarian fleet. "Captain," Dr. Park Suman said to Lee Hyun, "I am detecting unusual energy signatures from their ships. Their weapons technology appears to be plasma-based, similar to what we encountered in the Alpha Centauri ruins." "Understood, Doctor," Lee Hyun replied. "Commander Kim Ji-soo, please analyze their formation and weapon capabilities." A new human appeared on screen. Commander Kim Ji-soo was tall and serious-looking. She studied data on her console before speaking. "Captain, their ships show typical third-generation fusion technology. Plasma weapons, energy shields, ion propulsion, standard galactic civilization level. Nothing we have not seen before in the historical records." Thexara frowned. The humans spoke as if they had encountered similar technology before, but that was impossible. This was first contact between their species. How could they have historical records of galactic civilizations? "Time is running short, Captain Lee Hyun," Thexara warned. 5 minutes remain. Will you surrender peacefully, or must we demonstrate the futility of resistance?" The human captain looked directly at the camera. His eyes were calm, but determined. "Admiral Thexara, we value life and prefer peaceful solutions, but we cannot surrender our ship or our crew. If you insist on conflict, you should know that Earth does not abandon its people. We are prepared to defend ourselves." Thexara felt a moment of surprise. This small ship, outnumbered nearly 1,000 to 1, was threatening to fight back. Either these humans were incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. In his experience, there was often little difference between the two. "So be it," Thexara declared. "You have chosen your fate. Prepare to face the power of the Vadarian Confederation." The communication ended. Across the Vadarian fleet, weapon systems powered up and shields activated. The humans had made their choice. Now they would learn why the Vadarian Confederation ruled half the galaxy. But as the fleet prepared for what should be a simple victory, none of them noticed the subtle changes happening aboard the human vessel. Deep inside the Indomitable, systems were activating that no Vadarian had ever imagined possible. Captain Lee Hyun stood in the center of the Indomitable's bridge, watching the massive alien fleet on his main screen. 847 ships hung in space like deadly stars, all pointing their weapons at his vessel. Any normal ship would be destroyed in seconds. But the Indomitable was not a normal ship. "Commander Kim Ji-soo," Lee Hyun said calmly, "what is your analysis of their formation?" Commander Kim Ji-soo studied her tactical display. Her fingers moved quickly across the control panel, gathering data about the alien ships. She had spent years studying ancient battle formations found in the ruins scattered across human space. "Captain, they are using a standard intimidation pattern," she reported. "Heavy ships in front, medium ships on the flanks, light ships providing cover. It is designed to show maximum firepower while allowing surrender negotiations." "And their technology level?" "Third-generation fusion-based civilization, sir. Plasma weapons, particle shields, ion drives. Very advanced compared to old Earth standards, but primitive compared to the artifacts we studied on Kepler 186. Dr. Park Suman looked up from her science station. She had been analyzing the alien biology through their ship scans. Her expertise in xenobiology made her the ship's expert on alien species. "Captain, I am detecting some disturbing patterns in their ship configurations," she said. "These vessels show modifications typical of slave-holding civilizations. Cargo holds designed for living beings, containment fields, suppression systems." Lee Hyun nodded grimly. "When humanity first discovered faster-than-light travel, they found ruins of ancient civilizations scattered throughout nearby star systems. Those ruins told stories of war, conquest, and slavery. The technology found in those ruins had advanced human civilization by thousands of years in just decades. So we are dealing with conquerors, not explorers," Lee Hyun concluded. "Engineer, Oh Minho, what is the status of our defensive systems?" Engineer Oh Minho sat at the engineering station, monitoring the ship's most advanced technology. The Indomitable carried experimental systems that most humans had never seen, systems based on artifacts that humanity was still learning to understand. "All quantum field generators are online and stable, Captain," Oh Minho reported. "The reality, manipulation matrix is functioning within normal parameters. We can activate full defensive protocols at any time." "Good. Lieutenant Yoon Do-hyun, open a channel to Earth Command." Lieutenant Yoon Do-hyun worked at the communications station. He was young but skilled, selected for this mission because of his ability to maintain secure communications across vast distances. "Channel open, sir. Quantum encryption is active." The screen showed Admiral Cho Wanjin sitting in the Earth Defense Command Center. Behind him, dozens of officers monitored the situation. Earth had been preparing for this moment since the first alien artifacts were discovered. "Captain Lee," Admiral Cho said, "we are monitoring your situation. Do you require assistance?" "No, sir," Lee Hyun replied. "The Indomitable can handle this situation, but I want Earth Command to know that we have encountered our first hostile alien civilization. They appear to be a slave-taking empire with significant military forces." "Understood, Captain. You are authorized to use all necessary force to protect your ship and crew. The safety protocols are now lifted." Lee Hyun felt the weight of that statement. The safety protocols had kept humanity's most dangerous technology locked away. Now, facing a real threat, those locks were removed. "Thank you, Admiral. We will handle this carefully." The communication ended. Lee Hyun turned to address his bridge crew. These men and women had trained for years to operate the most advanced ship humanity had ever built. They had studied the alien artifacts, learned their secrets, and prepared for the day when humanity would meet other spacefaring species. "Listen carefully, everyone," Lee Hyun said. "We are about to make history. This is humanity's first contact with a hostile alien civilization. How we handle this situation will determine how the galaxy sees our species for generations to come." Commander Kim Ji-soo checked her weapons display. "Captain, the aliens are charging their weapons. All ships in their fleet are preparing to fire." "Dr. Park, what can you tell me about their likely tactics?" Dr. Park Suman consulted her analysis of the alien communications. Based on their language patterns and ship formations, they appear to follow a standard conquest protocol. Overwhelming force, demands for surrender, then capture of survivors for slave labor. "They have done this many times before," Lee Hyun observed. "That explains their confidence." "Captain," Engineer Oh Minho called out, "I am detecting energy. Spikes from their lead ship. They are preparing some kind of demonstration attack." As if to confirm his words, the alien flagship fired a single plasma bolt. The bright energy beam struck empty space near the Indomitable, close enough to show its power but not close enough to cause damage. It was a warning shot. "Traditional intimidation tactic," Commander Kim noted. "They want us to see what their Weapons can do. Lieutenant Yoon received an incoming transmission. Captain, the alien admiral is contacting us again. Put him on screen. The fierce face of Admiral Thexara appeared on the main display. His 4 eyes glowed with confidence and his sharp teeth were visible as he spoke. Captain Lee Hyun, you have seen a sample of our weapons. That was one ship firing at minimum power. Imagine 847 ships firing at full power. Surrender now, and your crew will be treated well in our labor colonies. Lee Hyun maintained his calm expression. Admiral Thexara, you should know that Earth does not negotiate with slave traders. We have encountered species like yours before, in the ruins of dead civilizations. We know what you do to conquered peoples. Thexara's expression showed surprise. You speak of dead civilizations and ruins. How can a species on its first venture into space know such things? Because we found the remains of your previous victims, Lee Hyun replied. We learned their history. We studied their technology. And we learned from their mistakes. This was not entirely true, but it was close enough. The ruins found in human space belong to many different civilizations, most destroyed by war or catastrophe. But some had clearly been conquered by species like the Vidarians. Impossible, Thexara snarled. You are primitives on your first journey beyond your home system. Are we? Lee Hyun asked. Tell me, Admiral, how do you think we detected your stealth approach? How do you think we are analyzing your ship designs and weapon capabilities in real time? Do you really believe we are as primitive as we appear? For the first time, doubt appeared in the alien admiral's eyes. The Vidarians had indeed used their best stealth technology to approach. If the humans had detected them, their technology might be more advanced than it appeared. It does not matter, Thexara said, but his voice lacked its earlier confidence. Numbers win battles. One ship against 800 cannot succeed. You are correct that numbers usually win battles, Lee Hyun agreed. But you are making one crucial mistake. What mistake? You assume this is a battle? Before Thexara could respond, Lee Hyun cut the communication. He turned to his crew with determination. Battle stations, everyone. Engineer O, prepare the quantum field generators for full activation. Commander Kim, target all enemy vessels with our reality anchors. Dr. Park, monitor their life signs for the record. Lieutenant Yoon, prepare to broadcast our message to their entire empire. Sir, Oh Minho said, activating the quantum fields will reveal our true capabilities to any species monitoring this region. That is exactly what I want, Lee Hyun replied. Humanity needs to establish its position in galactic politics immediately. Let every species in this galaxy know that Earth is not a target for conquest. The crew moved with practiced efficiency. The Indomitable's true systems came online for the first time in actual combat. Deep within the ship, quantum field generators began manipulating the fundamental forces of reality itself. All systems ready, Captain, Commander Kim reported. Alien, fleet is moving into attack formation, Dr. Park announced. I am reading massive energy buildups across all their ships. They are about to fire everything they have, Lieutenant Yoon added. Lee Hyun stood at the center of his bridge, calm in the face of impossible odds. He thought about the ruins humanity had found, the stories of conquered peoples, the lessons learned from civilizations that had trusted in diplomacy against overwhelming force. Message to Earth Command, he said. First contact with hostile species initiated. Defensive protocols authorized and activated. Historical records suggest this species has conquered multiple civilizations. We are ending that pattern today. He paused, looking at each member of his crew. These brave men and women were about to witness something that would change the galaxy forever. Execute quantum field deployment, Lee Hyun ordered. Show them what humanity learned from the ruins of their victims. Admiral Thexara paced across his flagship's bridge, his 4 eyes burning with anger. In 3,000 years of conquest, no species had ever spoken to him with such disrespect. The human captain's calm confidence disturbed him more than he wanted to admit. More done, he called to his intelligence officer. What new data do we have on their vessel? Chief Intelligence Officer Mordun studied his scanning displays with growing confusion. Admiral, their ship is showing energy readings that do not match our initial scans. There appears to be some kind of interference with our sensors. What kind of interference? Unknown, sir. It is as if parts of their ship exist in slightly different dimensional phases. Our sensors cannot get clear readings on their internal systems. Thexara stopped pacing. In all his years of space warfare, he had never encountered technology that could fool Vadarian sensors. Their scanning systems were based on quantum resonance patterns that could detect any known form of matter or energy. Are they using some form of stealth technology? No, sir, not stealth. Something else. Something we have never seen before. The Admiral looked at the human ship on his main screen. From the outside, it appeared unremarkable. Dark gray hull, simple. Design, no obvious weapons. But if their sensors could not penetrate its defenses, what other surprises might it contain? Sir, called the weapons officer. The fleet is in position for the Hammer of Submission formation. All ships report ready to fire. The Hammer of Submission was the Vadarians' most devastating battle formation. 800 ships would fire simultaneously, creating an overlapping field of destruction that no enemy had ever survived. The remaining 47 ships would capture any survivors for interrogation. Excellent, Thexara said. Open communications to all fleet commanders. The bridge's main screen split into dozens of smaller images, showing the captains of every ship in the Vadarian fleet. These officers had conquered star systems together. They had destroyed entire civilizations. Today would add another victory to their record. Fleet commanders, Thexara announced. We face a single enemy vessel crewed by an unknown species called humans. They have refused our generous offer of surrender. We will now demonstrate why resistance to the Vadarian Confederation is futile. Captain Velthar of the Dreadnought Worldbreaker spoke first. Admiral, shall we disable their engines first? We might learn valuable information from their technology. No, Thexara replied. These humans have shown disrespect for our authority. We will destroy their ship completely, then recover any surviving crew for interrogation. Captain Zekran of the battleship Starander raised a concern. Sir, what? If they have allies nearby, should we scan for other human vessels? Our long-range sensors show no other ships within 50 light-years, Mordoun reported. This vessel appears to be alone. Thexara smiled, showing his predator's teeth. You see? They sent one ship to face our entire fleet. Such arrogance deserves a memorable lesson. On the human ship, Engineer O'Minho monitored his control panels with growing excitement. The quantum field generators were operating beyond all theoretical expectations. The ancient technology they had reverse-engineered was responding perfectly to human modifications. Captain, he reported to Li Hyun, all quantum field matrices are stable and synchronized. We are ready to deploy the Reality Anchor Network. Battle. Coordinator Nam Siwu appeared on the bridge. He was a thin, serious man who had spent years studying tactical scenarios involving overwhelming enemy forces. His job was to find ways to win impossible battles. Captain Lee, Nam reported, I have completed my analysis of the alien fleet formation. They are preparing to execute a simultaneous bombardment from all ships. Based on their weapon signatures, they intend to completely destroy us rather than capture us. Their mistake, Li Hyun replied calmly. Chief Scientist Han Yunji, are you ready with the field calculations? Han Unji worked at the science station alongside Dr. Park Suman. She was the Indomitable's expert on quantum field dynamics and the primary architect of their experimental weapon systems. All calculations are complete, Captain, she reported. The quantum cascade effect has been modeled down to the subatomic level. When we activate the field, it will propagate through local space at approximately 97% of light speed. And the effect on their ships? Complete atomic dissolution, sir. Their molecular bonds will simply cease to exist. Death will be instantaneous and painless. Dr. Park Suman looked up from her biological monitoring station. Captain, I am detecting approximately 2 million alien life forms across their fleet. Should we attempt to warn them again? Li Hyun considered this carefully. His orders from Earth Command were clear. Protect humanity's interests and establish Earth as a power that should not be threatened. But he was also a moral man who understood the weight of what he was about to do. Open a channel to their flagship, he decided. Lieutenant Yoon established the connection quickly. Admiral Thexara's face appeared on screen, his expression showing irritation at the interruption. What is it now, human? Thexara demanded. Have you finally come to your senses and decided to surrender? Admiral, Li Hyun said seriously, I am making one final offer. Withdraw your fleet from this system immediately, and no harm will come to your people. Continue with your attack, and you will face consequences beyond your imagination. Thexara laughed, the sound echoing across his bridge. Consequences? You face 800 ships with one. What consequences could you possibly threaten? Admiral, your scanners cannot penetrate our ship's defenses because we are using technology your civilization has never encountered. The same technology that allows us to manipulate the fundamental forces of reality itself. Impossible, Thexara snarled. No species possesses such technology. You are correct, Li Hyun agreed. No current species possesses such technology. But the civilizations you destroyed in the past, some of them were working on quantum field manipulation when you conquered them. We found their research in the ruins you left behind. For the first time, genuine fear appeared in Thexara's eyes. You are bluffing, trying to delay our attack with threats you cannot carry out. Am I? Li Hyun asked. Tell me, Admiral. What? Do your sensors show when they scan our weapon systems? Thexara turned to Morden, who checked his displays with growing alarm. Sir, Morden whispered, I am not detecting any conventional weapons on their ship. No plasma cannons, no missile tubes, no energy projectors. But there are massive power fluctuations throughout their vessel. What kind of power fluctuations? Sir, the energy levels are approaching those of a small star, but the energy is contained within field generators we cannot identify. Thexara felt a chill run through his body. In 3,000 years of conquest, the Vidarians had learned to recognize dangerous technology. What they were seeing defied all their understanding of physics. Last chance, Admiral, Li Hyun said quietly. Order your fleet to withdraw. This system is under Earth's protection now. Thexara's fear turned to rage. No primitive species would humiliate the Vidarian Confederation. Whatever technology the humans possessed, it could not possibly match the firepower of 800 ships. You want to see consequences? Thexara roared. All ships, prepare to fire. Show these humans the true power of the Vidarian fleet. Admiral. Wait! Morden started to say, but Thexara cut him off. Fire! All ships fire at maximum power! Across the Vidarian fleet, 800 ships opened fire simultaneously. Plasma beams, particle bolts, and fusion missiles streaked through space toward the lone human vessel. The combined firepower could have destroyed a small moon. On the Indomitable's bridge, Li Hyun watched the incoming destruction with sad resignation. They made their choice, he said quietly. Engineer O, activate the quantum field network. Commander Kim, execute Cascade Protocol. Chief Scientist Han, document everything for the historical record. Field activation in 3 seconds. O. Minho announced. May their deaths teach the galaxy the price of conquest, Li Hyun said. The quantum field generators activated, reality itself bent to humanity's will, and the galaxy changed forever. The moment the Vidarian fleet fired, Engineer O Minho pressed the activation control for the quantum field generators. Deep within the Indomitable, 12 massive machines hummed to life, drawing power equivalent to a small star. The technology, reverse-engineered from ancient artifacts found in the Sol system, was about to be tested in actual combat for the first time. Field generators at 100%, O Minho reported, his voice steady despite the magnitude of what was happening. Quantum matrix is stable and expanding. Commander Kim Ji-soo watched her tactical display as thousands of alien weapons fired at their ship. Plasma beams and fusion missiles filled space with deadly energy, all aimed at the Indomitable. But the quantum field was already spreading outward from their vessel like an invisible wave. Cascade effect initiated, she announced. Quantum disruption field expanding at 97% light speed. Chief Scientist Han Yunji monitored the field's interaction with local spacetime. The quantum cascade was working exactly as their calculations predicted, but seeing it in reality was both thrilling and terrifying. Captain, she reported, the field is interacting with the atomic structure of all matter within its radius. Molecular bonds are beginning to destabilize across the enemy fleet. Battle Coordinator Nam Siwoo tracked the field's progress as it reached the closest Vidarian ships. First contact with enemy vessels in 2 seconds, he announced. Captain Lee Hyun stood at the center of his bridge, watching the display screens that showed 800 alien warships about to learn what humanity had discovered in the ruins of ancient civilizations. The weight of this moment pressed down on him. In seconds, 2 million alien lives would end because their leaders chose conquest over peace. "Sir," Dr. Park Suman said quietly, "I am detecting extreme panic in the alien fleet's communications. Their sensors are registering the quantum field approach." On the Vidarian flagship, Chief Intelligence Officer Morden stared at his instruments in horror. "Admiral, something is wrong. Our sensors are detecting massive space-time distortions approaching the fleet." Admiral Thexara felt fear grip his heart as alarms rang throughout his ship. "What kind of distortions?" "Sir, the fabric of space itself is changing. Quantum fields are collapsing. Atomic bonds are—" Morden's words were cut off as the quantum cascade reached the first ships in the Vidarian formation. The effect was unlike anything in the history of space warfare. The ships did not explode or burn or break apart. They simply ceased to exist. The quantum field disrupted the fundamental forces that held matter together. Atomic nuclei lost their binding energy. Electrons broke free from their orbits. In less than a second, the mighty Vidarian warships dissolved into clouds of individual particles as if they had never been built. "My God," whispered Lieutenant Yoon Do-hyun as he watched the display. "They are just disappearing." Commander Kim tracked the cascade's progress across the alien fleet. Quantum field has reached the outer formation. 200 ships dissolved, 400 ships dissolved, 600 ships dissolved. The process took exactly 4.7 seconds. 4.7 seconds for 847 warships to be reduced to scattered atoms drifting in space. 4.7 seconds for the Vidarian Confederation's greatest fleet to simply stop existing. Engineer Oh Min-ho monitored the field's power consumption. Quantum generators are cycling down. Field collapse is complete. All enemy vessels have been neutralized. The bridge fell silent except for the soft hum of the ship's systems. Where moments before a massive fleet had threatened them with overwhelming firepower, now only empty space remained. Not even wreckage existed to mark the passage of the alien armada. "Status report," Captain Lee Hyun requested quietly. "All ship. Systems normal," Oh Min-ho reported. "Quantum generators performed within acceptable parameters. No damage to ship or crew." "Scanning for survivors," Dr. Park added. "Negative. No life signs detected in the target area." Chief Scientist Han checked her instruments one final time. "Quantum field has fully dissipated. Local space-time has returned to normal. The cascade effect contained itself exactly as predicted." Battle Coordinator Nam reviewed the tactical situation. "All hostile vessels eliminated. No remaining threats detected. The engagement is concluded." Captain Lee Hyun nodded slowly. Humanity's first battle with an alien civilization was over. The results would change galactic politics forever, assuming there was anyone left to tell the story. "Lieutenant Yoon," he said, "scan for any automated systems or emergency beacons that might have survived the cascade." Yoon worked at his station for several minutes before responding. "Captain, I am detecting several automated message drones that were positioned outside the cascade radius. They appear to be emergency communication devices. What are they transmitting?" "Sir, they are broadcasting the entire engagement to the Vidarian home system. Everything that happened here is being recorded and transmitted in real time." Lee Hyun considered this information carefully. The fact that witnesses existed was actually beneficial to humanity's long-term interests. The galaxy needed to know what happened here, and more importantly, why it happened. Good, he decided. Let them broadcast. The galaxy should know that Earth responds to threats decisively. Dr. Park studied the biological data she had collected during the brief battle. "Captain, I was able to complete a biological scan of the alien fleet before the cascade effect. These Vidarians were definitely a slave-taking species. Their ships contained holding areas for thousands of captured beings. How many civilizations do you estimate they conquered?" Based on the genetic markers I detected, at least 30 different species were represented in their slave populations. Some appeared to be recent captures. Others had been enslaved for generations. Commander Kim accessed the historical databases built from humanity's archaeological discoveries. Captain, cross-referencing Dr. Park's data with our ruins surveys, I believe we have encountered the species responsible for destroying at least 12 civilizations in our local galactic region. Chief Scientist Han looked up from her analysis. Sir, if that is true, then we have just eliminated the greatest threat to galactic civilization in this region. The quantum cascade was not just self-defense. It was justice for thousands of years of conquest and slavery. Engineer Oh Minho checked the ship's power systems. Captain, the quantum generators are ready for immediate reactivation if needed. If other Vidarian fleets respond to this incident, we can repeat the defensive protocol. That will not be necessary, Lee Hyun replied. One demonstration should be sufficient. Battle Coordinator Nam pulled up star charts showing Vidarian territory. Sir, based on the communication drone's transmission vectors, this engagement will be reported to approximately 40 star systems under Vidarian control. Word will spread quickly throughout their empire. And to other species as well, Lee Hyun observed. This battle will become known throughout the galaxy. Humanity's first impression on galactic civilization will be one of overwhelming defensive capability. Lieutenant Yoon received an incoming transmission from Earth. Captain, Admiral Cho is requesting a status report. Put him through. Admiral Cho Won-jin's face appeared on the main screen. Behind him, the Earth Defense Command Center was buzzing with activity as officers analyzed the battle data. Captain Lee, Admiral Cho said, preliminary reports indicate complete success. Is your ship and crew safe? All personnel unharmed, Admiral. The Indomitable performed exactly as designed. The quantum field cascade eliminated all hostile vessels in 4.7 seconds. And the political implications? Sir, the engagement was witnessed and recorded by Vidarian communication systems. Word of this battle will spread throughout their empire and beyond. I believe we have successfully established Earth's position as a species that should not be threatened. Admiral Cho nodded approvingly. Excellent work, Captain. Return to Earth when ready. You and your crew have just changed the course of galactic history. The communication ended. Captain Lee Hyun looked around his bridge at the men and women who had operated humanity's most advanced technology under pressure. They had performed flawlessly, and their actions would echo across the galaxy for generations. Set course for Earth, he ordered. Our mission here is complete. As the Indomitable turned toward home, automated Vidarian communication drones continued broadcasting the story of what had happened in the Kepler 442 system. The message was simple but profound. A single human ship had eliminated the greatest military fleet in Vidarian history in less than 5 seconds. The age of human expansion into the galaxy had begun with a demonstration that would be remembered forever. Supreme Overlord Kethvan sat in the highest chamber of the Vidarian capital tower, staring at the communication device that had just delivered impossible news. The automated message drones from Admiral Thexera's fleet had transmitted their final data burst before going silent forever. 847 ships, gone, dissolved into atomic particles by a single alien vessel in less than 5 seconds. Play the recording again, Kethvan ordered, his voice hollow with disbelief. Chief Scientist Yexatara activated the holographic display that showed the battle's final moments. The vast Vidarian fleet fired thousands of weapons at the human ship. Then a strange field expanded outward and the ship simply ceased to exist. Supreme Overlord, Yexatara said carefully, I have analyzed this recording 17 times. The effect we witnessed is theoretically impossible according to our understanding of physics. Explain what we are seeing. Sir, the human vessel appears to have generated a quantum field that disrupted the atomic bonds of everything it touched. The ships did not explode or break apart. Their matter was converted back to individual particles. Kethvan stood and walked to the great window that overlooked the Vidarian capital city. Below him, millions of his people went about their daily lives, unaware that their empire's greatest fleet had been destroyed by creatures they had never heard of. How advanced would a civilization need to be to wield such technology? He asked. Supreme. Overlord, based on our scientific knowledge, such technology should be impossible. The energy requirements alone would exceed the output of multiple star systems. Yet we witnessed it functioning perfectly. Defense Minister Khaldun entered the chamber, his expression grim. Supreme Overlord, emergency reports are coming in from across the Empire. Every system that received the battle transmission is demanding answers. What are they saying? Fear, sir. Our military commanders want to know if we can defend against such weapons. Our subject species are asking if humanity might liberate them from our rule. Kethavan felt the weight of 3,000 years of conquest suddenly become a liability. The Vadarian Empire ruled through fear and overwhelming military force. But what happened when that force was revealed to be powerless against superior technology? Have we detected any other human ships in our territory? Kethavan asked. No, sir, Defense Minister Khaldun replied. But that may not mean anything. If they can make their ships invisible to our sensors, they could have fleets positioned anywhere. Chief Scientist Yex Tara pulled up star charts showing known human activity. Supreme Overlord, our intelligence suggests that humans have only recently developed faster-than-light travel. The ship we encountered may have been their first deep space exploration vessel. You mean this was their first contact with alien life? Possibly, sir. Which makes their technological superiority even more alarming. If this represents their basic defensive capability, what might their dedicated warships be capable of? Kethavan returned to his throne, his mind racing through possibilities. For 3 millennia, the Vadarian Confederation had been the dominant military power in this region of the galaxy. They had conquered dozens of species, enslaved millions of beings, and built an empire that spanned 40 star systems. Now, a single ship from an unknown species had demonstrated that all of that power was meaningless against sufficiently advanced technology. Summon the War Council, Kethavan ordered. We need to decide how to respond to this threat. Within an hour, the Empire's greatest military minds had assembled in the throne chamber. Admirals who had conquered star systems, generals who had broken the resistance of entire species, and strategists who had planned the subjugation of half the galaxy. Admiral Rex Toon spoke first. Supreme Overlord, I recommend immediate mobilization of all remaining fleets. If we concentrate our forces, we might be able to overwhelm even their advanced technology. With what? Demanded Admiral Velkason. They destroyed our greatest fleet in seconds. How many ships would we need to sacrifice to even damage one of theirs? Chief Scientist Yexatara displayed her analysis on the main screen. Honored leaders, I have calculated the energy requirements for the weapon we witnessed. If my estimates are correct, a single human ship could destroy every vessel in our entire navy without depleting its power reserves. The chamber fell silent as the military leaders absorbed this information. Some looked skeptical, others appeared frightened, but none could deny what they had witnessed in the battle recordings. General Thokmar, veteran of 30 conquest campaigns, spoke slowly. Supreme Overlord, in all my years of warfare, I have learned to recognize when an enemy is beyond our ability to defeat. The humans have demonstrated technological superiority that makes conventional military responses futile. Are you suggesting we surrender without a fight? Admiral Rex Toon demanded. I am suggesting we avoid provoking them further, General Thokmar replied. Every species we have conquered was less advanced than us. We always had the advantage of superior technology and numbers. Now we face a species that makes us look primitive. Defense Minister Khaldun presented intelligence reports from across the Empire. Supreme Overlord, we are receiving communications from several subject species. Word of the human victory is spreading. Some of our conquered peoples are beginning to rebel, hoping that humanity will support their liberation. What about our allies? Kethavan asked. The Scorian Empire and the hegemony of worlds? Both have gone silent, sir. They are probably analyzing the same battle data we are and reaching similar conclusions. Chief Scientist Yextara brought up additional data. Supreme Overlord, I have been studying the human captain's words during their final communication. He claimed they learned their technology from studying the ruins of civilizations we had conquered. What does that mean? Sir, it suggests that the species we destroyed may have been working on similar technologies when we conquered them. By enslaving or eliminating their scientists, we may have prevented the development of defenses against such weapons. The irony was crushing. The Vadarian Empire's greatest weakness had been created by their own success. By conquering and enslaving other species, they had prevented the development of technologies that might have protected them. Admiral Velkassan studied the star charts. Supreme Overlord, we need to consider the possibility that other species in the galaxy may already possess similar technology. If the humans learned this from ruins, others might have made the same discoveries. Are you saying our empire is already obsolete? I am saying that our method of expansion through military conquest may no longer be viable. We need to adapt or face extinction. Kethvan considered his options. The Vadarian Empire had been built on the principle that superior force could overcome any obstacle. But force was meaningless against an enemy that could dissolve matter at the quantum level. What do we know about human intentions? He asked. Defense Minister Khaldun consulted his intelligence files. Sir, the human captain offered to spare our fleet if we withdrew peacefully. They appear to prefer negotiation to conquest. However, when we attacked them, they responded with overwhelming force, so they are not necessarily aggressive, but they will defend themselves decisively. That appears to be correct, sir. Chief Scientist Yex Tara added her analysis. Supreme Overlord, the human captain, also stated that this system was now under Earth's protection. This suggests they may be establishing defensive zones rather than conquest territories. Kethvan stood and walked to the great map that showed the extent of Vadarian territory. Red markers indicated conquered systems. Blue markers showed allied worlds, and green markers represented neutral territory. Now, he needed to add a new color for systems that were utterly beyond his power to threaten. Prepare a message to be transmitted on all frequencies throughout the galaxy, he decided. The Vadarian Confederation hereby declares that all hostilities against the species known as humans are forbidden. Any attack on human vessels or territory will be considered an act of war against our empire. The assembled leaders looked surprised. Admiral Rextoon spoke up. Supreme Overlord, are we allying with the humans? No, Kethvan replied. We are ensuring that they do not view us as an ongoing threat. If we cannot defeat them, we must make certain they have no reason to attack us. The transformation had begun. The Vadarian Empire, built on conquest and maintained by fear, was about to become something entirely different. The age of expansion was over. The age of survival had begun. Captain Lee Hyun stood on the observation deck of the Indomitable as his ship approached Earth's orbital defense grid. Through the massive windows, he could see the blue marble of humanity's homeworld growing larger. Behind him, the bridge crew, that had made history just days ago, worked quietly at their stations. Captain, Lieutenant Yoon Do-Yun called from the communications station. Earth Defense Command is requesting permission to dock at Luna Station. Admiral Cho wants to debrief the crew immediately. Granted, Lee Hyun replied. Send our complete all. Mission logs ahead of our arrival. Dr. Park Suman joined him at the observation window. Her xenobiology expertise had been crucial in understanding the alien threat they had faced. Now she carried data that would reshape humanity's understanding of galactic politics. Captain, she said quietly, I have been thinking about the implications of what we discovered. The Vadarian Empire has conquered at least 30 different species. Those civilizations had families, cultures, histories, all destroyed by conquest and slavery. And now their conquerors know that such behavior has consequences, Lee Hyun replied. The galaxy is a safer place today than it was a week ago. Chief, Scientist Han Yunji approached them, carrying a data tablet filled with analysis reports. Captain, I have completed my study of the quantum field's performance. The ancient technology we reverse-engineered worked better than our most optimistic. Projections? How much better? Sir, our calculations suggested the field would require 30% of our ship's power reserves. In actual use, it consumed only 12%. The technology is far more efficient than we understood. Commander Kim Ji-soo joined the group, her tactical expertise having proven essential during the brief battle. Captain, I have been analyzing the political ramifications of our actions. Word of the Vidarian fleet's destruction has spread throughout this region of the galaxy. What kind of reactions are we seeing? Mixed, sir. Some species that were conquered by the Vidarians are celebrating. Others are fearful that humanity might become the new dominant power. Most are simply trying to understand what they witnessed. Engineer Oh Min-ho called from the engine room through the ship's communication system. Captain, I am monitoring increased subspace activity throughout the local galactic region. It appears that many species are attempting to contact each other to discuss recent events. Lee Hyun nodded. The destruction of the Vidarian fleet would not remain secret. In fact, secrecy would work against humanity's interests. The galaxy needed to understand that Earth was powerful enough to defend itself, but peaceful enough to coexist with other civilizations. Captain, Dr. Park announced, I am receiving a priority transmission from an unknown source. The signal is using quantum encryption methods we have never seen before. Put it through to the main screen. The image that appeared showed a being unlike any they had encountered. Tall and graceful, with silver skin and large eyes that held ancient wisdom. When it spoke, the voice was melodic, but carried an undertone of great age. Greetings, humans of Earth, the being said. I am Ambassador Laren of the Alteran Republic. We have observed your recent encounter with the Vidarian Confederation. Lee Hyun stepped forward. Ambassador Laren, this is Captain Lee Hyun of the Earth vessel Indomitable. We are honored by your contact. Captain Lee, the Alteran Republic has been monitoring galactic affairs for over 10,000 years. We have seen the rise and fall of many civilizations. Your actions in the Kepler 442 system have drawn our attention. In what way, Ambassador? For 3 millennia, the Vidarian Empire has been a plague upon this region of space. They have conquered peaceful species, enslaved billions of beings, and destroyed irreplaceable cultures. Your species has ended that threat in a single engagement. Park stepped forward. Ambassador, did your species ever attempt to stop the Vidarian expansion? Dr. Park, the Alteran Republic follows a policy of non-interference in the affairs of younger civilizations. We observe and record, but we do not intervene directly. Even when genocide and slavery are involved, Ambassador Laren's expression showed what might have been regret. Our history has taught us that interference often creates worse problems than it solves. However, your species has chosen to act when faced with an immediate threat. This suggests wisdom beyond your apparent age. Commander Kim asked the obvious question. Ambassador, how advanced is your civilization compared to ours? Commander Kim, the Alteran Republic mastered quantum field manipulation approximately 8,000 years ago. We are pleased to see that humanity has discovered similar principles. Chief Scientist Han looked surprised. You have been using quantum technology for 8,000 years? Why did you not stop the Vidarians yourself? Dr. Han, we learned long ago that younger species must find their own path to wisdom. Direct. Intervention prevents necessary growth. However, your species has demonstrated both technological advancement and moral restraint. This combination is rare in galactic history. Lee Hyun considered the implications. Ambassador, are you saying that humanity is not the only species with advanced quantum technology? Captain, there are approximately 12 species in this galaxy that have mastered reality manipulation to various degrees. Most, like the Alteran Republic, have moved beyond the need for territorial expansion or military conquest. Your species appears to be developing in the same direction. The communication paused as Ambassador Laren consulted with others not visible on the screen. When he returned, his expression was more formal. Captain Lee, the Altaran Republic wishes to extend an invitation to humanity to join the Galactic Concordat of Advanced Species. This organization exists to maintain stability and prevent the misuse of reality manipulation technology. What would membership involve? Primarily, it involves agreeing to use quantum technology responsibly and to assist in preventing less advanced species from destroying themselves through warfare or environmental catastrophe. Think of it as an informal council of galactic guardians. Dr. Park asked another important question. Ambassador, what about the species that were conquered? By the Vadarians? Will they be liberated now? Dr. Park, that process has already begun. The destruction of the Vadarian fleet has triggered rebellion throughout their empire. Most of their subject species are declaring independence. The Vadarian leadership is too paralyzed by fear to respond effectively. Commander Kim smiled. So, our single engagement has freed dozens of civilizations? Indeed, Commander. Your actions have changed the political structure of this entire galactic region. Species that have been enslaved for generations are now free to rebuild their societies. Engineer O's voice came through the ship's communication system. Captain, we are approaching Luna Station. Earth Defense Command is ready to receive us. Understood, Lee Hyun replied. He turned back to Ambassador Laren. Ambassador, humanity will need time to consider your invitation to the Galactic Concordat. Of course, Captain. Your species has much to learn about galactic politics. However, your first encounter with hostile aliens suggests that humanity will be a valuable addition to the community of advanced civilizations. The communication ended, leaving the bridge crew to absorb the magnitude of what they had learned. Humanity was not alone in possessing quantum technology, but they were apparently unique in how quickly they had developed both the capability and the wisdom to use it responsibly. As the Indomitable docked with Luna Station, Captain Lee Hyun reflected on the events of the past week. They had set out to explore a distant star system and instead had established humanity's place in galactic civilization. The destruction of the Vadarian fleet had been terrible, but necessary. The liberation of dozens of enslaved species had been an unexpected bonus. Admiral Cho Wonjin met them at the docking bay, his expression showing both pride and amazement. Captain Lee, congratulations on a successful mission. Your actions have not only protected Earth, but have established humanity as a major galactic power. Thank you, Admiral, but I think our real work is just beginning. How so? Lee Hyun looked through the station's windows at the stars beyond. Somewhere among those lights were civilizations that had been enslaved for generations and were now free. Others were ancient species with technology beyond imagination, and still others were probably young civilizations just beginning to reach for the stars. Sir, we have learned that the galaxy is full of life, both good and evil. We have the power to make a difference, but with that power comes responsibility. Today we stopped one empire of conquest and slavery. Tomorrow there may be others. Admiral Cho nodded slowly. And humanity will be ready? Yes, sir, Lee Hyun replied, thinking of the brave crew that had operated the Indomitable's quantum systems under impossible pressure. We will be ready. As Earth's newest heroes walked through, the station corridors, subspace messages carried word of their victory to every corner of the galaxy. The human species had announced its presence with a demonstration of overwhelming power, tempered by moral restraint. The galaxy would never be the same. In the ruins of the Vadarian Empire, freed slaves looked up at unfamiliar stars and dreamed of rebuilding their ancient civilizations. In the halls of the Altaran Republic, ancient beings discussed whether humanity might be the species they had been waiting for. And on distant worlds, other civilizations wondered whether